Did you know that over 70% of sports photographers now use mirrorless cameras instead of DSLRs? That's because they're lighter, faster, and pack way more tech into a smaller body. If you've been thinking about upgrading your kit, the Canon EOS R7 might be exactly what you need. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've been shooting with the R7 for a few months now, and honestly, it's one of those cameras that just disappears in your hands. It's not tiny like a smartphone, but it's way more compact than the DSLRs I used to carry around. The body feels solid, like it's built to take a few knocks, but the weight savings over my old setup is noticeable after a full day of shooting. Plus, the black finish isn't just for looks, it handles smudges way better than glossy white bodies do. The image quality is where this thing really shines. The 32.5 megapixel APS-C sensor delivers crisp, detailed shots whether you're photographing wildlife, portraits, or street scenes. I took it to a soccer game last weekend and was blown away by how much detail I could pull from the shadows in the stands. The colors are vibrant without being oversaturated, and the dynamic range is seriously impressive for an APS-C sensor. If you're coming from a crop sensor DSLR, the jump in clarity is noticeable right away. Now, autofocus is where the R7 truly flexes. Canon's deep learning AF tech tracks subjects with insane precision, whether it's a soccer player sprinting across the field or a bird in flight. I tested it with my niece's soccer game, and the camera locked onto her face even when she was moving fast and the lighting was changing constantly. The IK face and animal detection modes are all spot on, and the tracking stays locked even when the subject momentarily disappears behind another player. It's not just for action shots either. I used it for a portrait session recently, and the AF kept up with subtle expressions without hunting. Speed is another area where this camera excels. With continuous shooting at up to 15 frames per second with the mechanical shutter, you'll never miss a decisive moment. I used it at a dog agility competition, and the buffer cleared quickly enough that I could keep shooting even in burst mode without slowing down. The electronic shutter option adds even more speed, up to 30 frames per second, but I tend to stick with mechanical for most situations because rolling shutter isn't an issue at those speeds. Video performance is where the R7 really stands out for creators. It can shoot 4K video at up to 60 frames per second, and the quality is sharp with great color grading. I recorded a short documentary-style piece with it, and the footage held up beautifully when I graded it in post. The in-body image stabilization is a lifesaver when you're shooting handheld, especially if you're vlogging or walking while filming. I took it on a hiking trip and was able to keep the footage steady even on uneven terrain. The camera also supports C-Log 3, which gives you more flexibility in post-production if you're serious about color grading. Battery life is solid, but not legendary. I can get through a full day of shooting with the LPE6NH battery, but if you're planning a long day or a heavy video shoot, bringing a spare is a good idea. The camera charges over USB-C, which is handy if you're using it as a webcam or powering it from a portable battery. The menu system is intuitive once you get used to it, though it's a bit more complex than entry-level cameras. That said, the touchscreen interface makes navigating settings quick, and you can customize the controls to suit your workflow. One thing to note is that the R7 doesn't have a fully articulating screen, it tilts up and down but doesn't flip out to the side. That's a bummer if you're used to vlogging or shooting at tricky angles, but it's not a deal-breaker for most photographers. The electronic viewfinder is bright and clear, though, so composing shots isn't an issue. So, who's this camera for? If you're a sports photographer, wildlife shooter, or content creator who needs speed, reliability, and great image quality, the R7 is a fantastic choice. It's also a solid upgrade if you're coming from an older DSLR and want to future-proof your kit. The only real downsides are the battery life, bring spares, and the lack of a fully articulating screen, but those are minor trade-offs for what you get. If you're on the fence, I'd say give it a shot. It's a workhorse that handles almost anything you throw at it. The link is below if you want to check it out on Amazon.